Thanks for watching Film Buff, really, honestly. It's fucking great.
Oh, hello. How's it going, guys? My name is Film Buff. Alright, man. Moving on to the 4th episode in this little mini marathon. Originally, my plan was just to check out episodes 4, 5, and 6. But, you know, episode 6, incredible. How could I not move on to episode 7, right? That cliffhanger, and just, you know, I simply had to move on to one more episode. So, yeah, episode 7. I have to do it. But, you know, before I go any further, a huge thank you to all the amazing patrons. Thank you for sticking around. Thank you for being so patient and supportive. I hope you're enjoying the early access stuff and the full length. Super happy I can offer those. And yeah, a reminder to anyone else, if you really like my stuff and if you would like to have early access to the next episodes or full length, you can check those out on my Patreon, and in turn you'll be supporting me. That last episode, man, just absolutely incredible. It's a monumental episode, actually, but there's got to be more to it. There's got to be more to the story in the grand scheme of things, and I'm here to find out, right? Hopefully I get answers at some point, but for now, let's jump right into episode 7. This is it, man. Big fight. It's that training episode, man. Damn, I can't stop tearing up, man. Always comes back to the training episode. This is a beautiful moment, I remember this. Looking over the lake. Kyojinと遭遇した後もその考えは変わらなかったってことだな。お前ならやれるはずだ。Eren Yeager. Shit. Don't lose control now. Don't lose control. Close combat. A little bit of CQC. I do hope that Reiner and Bertolt get out, just like I hoped Annie gets out, because I know there has to be more to it. Oh my god, that's just... Oh god, yeah. No, it's just like Annie. He's just keeping them safe. But who's the other person? Eren's down there. It's too slow. You're not gonna cut him though. Of course it's not gonna be that easy. Come on. See that look on Bertolt's face, man? That haunts me because, you know... I mean, I know he's responsible for a lot of death, but... I don't know, that look at his face, man. Oh no, Connie, my dude. He doesn't even know yet. It's gonna be a long day for Eren, man. If he keeps going at him, just head first, you know, trying to... He is a stand-up guy, though. That too? He did all those things? Yeah? He did all those things. You know, I can't just forget all those things. Just like Annie, you know, I can't just hate them. That was them, right?
人類史上こんなに悪いことしたやつはいねえよ。
I think so. The people who made them into this, these young children, need to find out who they are.
消さなきゃ。てめえはこの世にいちゃいけないやつだ。一体何考えてたんだ。本当に気持ち悪いよ。
Aaron's so disgusted right now.
あの面構えを思い出すだけで吐き気がしてくんだよ。
Look at this.
このでけえ害虫が俺が今から駆除してやる。
Exterminate. Oh my god, Aaron, man. That strategy is just not feasible. He's not gonna beat him hand to hand like that. Oh, look at that. Love that transition.
何？
いっぱいぶつかってくるからこっちも相応の返しをしなきゃいけないんだよ。あんたも男ならさ、私のこのか弱い体をもっといたわるべきなんじゃないの？
Oh, please.
相手より力で劣る者が自分を守るための技術だ。
He's gonna remember something from this. She's got that Muay Thai stance
知っ
again.
てて損はしないよ。
わかった。少し休憩しよう。
Oh my god, look at that. She's got him in an arm triangle.
兄、降参だ。
She'll put him to sleep in like 5 seconds if she wants.
降参なんかしてないで。
ねえ兄私も
Mika-san.
それ
Oh.
教えて。
Did she approach Annie just because, she saw Annie taking on
この
Aaron?
技は人間用なんだ。あんたに必要あるとは思えないけど。ただ、猛獣に通用するかどう
Oh,
か
snap.
興味はある。
Yeah.
マジかよ。
Mika-san and Annie. I don't even know, guys.
どっちだ。
I pick Annie because the hand-to-hand combat skills. Oh, he slapped on the arm triangle. Okay, Aaron.
その一つはこれだ。俺に戦い方を教えて
You guys put him in a full-on triangle.
やった。君はさ、聞け。
He's putting on a jiu-jitsu clinic over here, man. Transitions into armbar.
そう簡単に逃がすか。
Oh, he's gonna break it. In real life, in jiu-jitsu or in MMA, yeah, you're gonna break it if the person isn't tapped. Look at that, Aaron.
さっきの関節技で鎧の足を破壊することはできるか？
He's gonna have to get him in
我々の刃は
a knee
通用しない
bar.
が頭を使っ
Break
て
it.
最大限できることを考えるよ。
いいぜ。その首。
Oh, guillotine. That happens in MMA all the time. Someone lunges in for a takedown and someone who specializes in jiu-jitsu just locks on the guillotine
入った。
and cranks the neck.
力の勝負だ。こいつ。まだ。
Look at this animation, man. Beautiful.
ミカさん。
来た。
抵抗力が弱くなった。
いける。
えいやっちまえ。
と思った。
he dragged right on. Colossal's up there. Oh shit.
周囲を警戒しろ。巨人を呼んだぞ。
No, I think he's just calling in Colossal.
周囲に他の巨人は見当たりません。ただの悪あが
Oh,
き
the beast?
てめえの首が引っ転げるのが先だ、バカが。見ろ、もうちぎれる。なんだ、鎧のやつ。急に叫びやがって。
That's why.
おいおいおいおいおい。上だ、避けろ。
Shit. Jeez, that's how they leave it off. Okay. Close combat. That's exactly what happened. I really enjoyed the, clearly, I've been told that he is the creator of the show, of the anime. He is a fan of MMA, so it's so clear to see here that he knows techniques, jiu-jitsu stuff. So that's cool. Man, the cliffhangers, this show and cliffhangers just go hand in hand, right? I mean, this cliffhanger, that was just like borderline rude, man. That cliffhanger just really snuck up on me because just the manner of the cut, from that final scene to the end credits, even the cut itself was a bit jarring compared to the other cliffhangers, because it's such a sudden cut. But yeah, man, Reiner somehow, after being bested by Eren in hand-to-hand combat, so that's a huge thing, I'm actually quite proud of Eren for pulling that off, Now he had some help. Of course, Mikasa came in at the end there to slash behind the knees, but for the most part, I credit Eren for besting him. He bested Reiner in hand-to-hand combat, grappling. More of that later. Amazing stuff. Reiner only had one option, and that's how the episode ends. He basically gets Bertold to just drop the colossal carcass on top of them, and I'm guessing Eren's gonna get pretty messed up. He's gonna get pretty messed up. Reiner is the armored titan, so he's gonna be able to take the impact of that blow. So I think Eren's probably gonna get knocked out, or he's gonna black out. It's gonna be quite the impact. So even after besting Reiner in hand-to-hand combat, it looks like they have the upper hand. Reiner and Bertold. So of course, I'm super excited to see how that plays out. All right, so this episode, the main focus is the action and this big fight that's gone down. Now, personally, I'm more attracted to the mysteries of this show, stuff like the Titans and their existence and the reason for the existence, or these walls and like how they came to be. Stuff like the ending. A lot of really mysterious stuff there, a lot of intrigue. Stuff that really fuels the mysterious nature of this show, and it really allows me to immerse myself into this. And in addition to the mysteries and the intrigue, the character focus. Oh man, there's so many amazing characters in this show. So those are the things that really attract me to the show. But if there's another aspect, the action aspect. Now I don't mind it, but it's not the reason I enjoy the show. But this episode, the action aspect, yes, that is right up my alley, man. The fight scene, spectacular fight scene, man, and that is because Eren basically finally kind of gives up or is able to give up this crazy reckless style of his, and he gets it together, and he starts using these incredible jiu-jitsu techniques. Because it wasn't just two titans flailing their arms at each other and falling over on things and breaking things and just raging out. Though Eren did rage out a bit in the beginning, as he usually does, right? But the important thing is that he controlled himself, right? And he tapped into something else, composed himself. And like I said, right up my alley, because I have been a fan of MMA for a long time, man. Long time. And I'm talking about like long before the UFC blew up and became kind of mainstream. I grew up on Pride FC, man. The legendary days of Pride FC in Japan. And like just the shows, the Japanese really know how to, throw a show. Put on a show. The Saitama Super Arena and Yokohama Arena. Just amazing stuff, man. It's one of my regrets that I never got to go to a live show, because I was too young at the time. I just, of course, it just wasn't possible back then. But back on topic, I'm a huge fan of MMA, so to see this play out, just incredible. And I know in the past I brought up, the fact that Annie's stance, her Muay Thai stance, just reminded me of like a MMA fighter, Shogun. And even her left high kick felt like Mirko Cro Cop's left high kick, his legendary left high kick. If you don't know what I'm talking about, YouTube it. YouTube Mirko Cro Cop. And then it was confirmed to me that the creator of the show is actually a huge MMA fan. So I like him even more, man. It was more of like a jiu-jitsu clinic, man. A technical chess match going on. So I absolutely loved it. I'll get more into that, into the actual techniques and stuff. That was actually quite exciting. And ironically, he got all these crucial lessons from Annie. So, and the scene itself also sheds more light on Eren's hesitation at the end of season 1. Around the time they're underground in that tunnel and Eren just can't transform. These two clearly spent a lot of time together. In background, the time I uploaded those episodes, it was even confirmed to me, yes, indeed, they do spend a lot of time together. The anime just didn't really show that. So, in that sense, you don't really get an idea of how close they got. But this scene, kind of showed me that. There was even a little bit of flirty stuff going on, right? As Annie, I believe she said something about like, oh, since you're a man, shouldn't you be careful around my delicate body? Of course, all of us know Annie's like a badass, but she's still being like playful and flirty. So clearly there's a bit of a connection there. And, this is before Annie even knew that Eren's a Titan shifter, right? So the fact that she's so open to helping him out and insisted that he learn these techniques, it's quite telling. And, I'm going back to season 1 in that underground tunnel. And at one point, Mikasa even kind of leans in and, she's like, is it because of another reason? And, of course, the implication being that perhaps he has feelings for Annie. And speaking of Mikasa and potential jealousy, I've seen it maybe twice in this episode, right? Once for sure, I think. In this flashback, I see Mikasa kind of have a bit of jealousy going on. She tosses Reiner at them, or in that direction, so they kind of split up because she sees all this grappling going on, right? So that was one instance in this episode that kind of showed me some of that Mikasa jealousy. And maybe later on, around, there's this fantastic moment. Hanji gets her fangirl moment. She's just been infatuated, right? With the Titans and how they function and their form. So the fact that a Titan is now listening to her commands and actually understanding them, right? That's a huge deal, massive deal for her. And you see that in her reaction, right? She fangirls, basically. And in that moment, there's a shot of Mikasa. It's a bit of a strange look in her face. She's kind of like dazed almost. She basically had to be pulled out of this little daze by Armin. But again, nothing new here. It's been established now that, Mikasa is super protective and obsessive even over Eren. But going back to the flashback, the big moment, of course, everyone's getting excited because Mikasa says she wants to learn this technique. If you're going to ask me, in my opinion, just because it is hand-to-hand combat and grappling, I think Annie beats her. But the funny thing is, I don't even think I really need to know. I don't really even need to know the answer. But there's also a bit of a meta moment because Eren kind of has similar thoughts. You know, he's kind of like, how come I can't remember how that ended up? But then he's like, who gives a shit? But it helped Eren regain his composure, right? And make use of these effective jujutsu techniques to beat a bigger opponent, a larger opponent. You know, because his rage-fueled, chaotic approach, you know, swing for the fences, that was playing right into Reiner's hands. And the accuracy of these techniques is just, oh man, spot on, spot on. Eren kicks it off by, you know, faking him out and slapping on the arm triangle. And, you know, he sweeps the leg, and upon impact, that makes it even tighter, you know, because once you sweep the person, it gives you a chance to get a tighter grip, and on impact, you really lock it in. So he had him, and he had Reiner locked in. And in MMA, if a fighter locks that on nice and clean, it's finished. Like, you can't defend that. You either tap or you go to sleep. And then he transitions into a triangle, just like a full-on triangle. And it's a beautiful transition. If it's properly locked in, you're not going to get out of it. It's simple as that. You tap or you go to sleep. Especially because this one's even tighter, right? Because your legs are doing the squeezing this time. And of course, the legs are much more powerful than your arms. So tap or go to sleep. And you see Reiner, he kind of stands up. He tries to stand up as the triangle's locked on. And I've seen that countless times in MMA. You know, the person panics, tries to stand up, and tries to even slam the person. But that usually makes it even tighter, you know, because as the person lifts them up, the person on the bottom, the person who has the triangle on, gets into even a tighter position. And again, the impact allows them to get it locked in even further. You know, and Eren sees this, so, you know, he spots an opening, and he transitions into an armbar, and he executes it to perfection, man. And the attention to detail is just fantastic in this. Really impressive, because you see Eren make sure that the thumb is pointing out. That takes the elbow out of alignment. You know, and that's the reason it's one of the most painful locks to be caught in, because once it's locked in, man, it's tap or snap. You don't get out of it. You're gonna damage your elbow trying to, you know, pull that out. And you know, this isn't some kind of contest. This isn't rules. This isn't MMA rules or anything. This is an actual fight, you know, in the open. And Eren's goal here is to inflict maximum damage, and he does that. He does that to perfection by ripping his arm right out. You know, he pulled it right out of the socket, man. Now, I haven't seen anyone actually pull anyone's arm off in MMA, but I have seen arms break. I've seen them snap. I've seen dislocations because people didn't tap, or just to get a chance to tap because the armbar is just executed so quickly. And the grand finale is, you know, Eren catches Reiner, who's just charging in like a bull. He for a takedown. He's trying to get him down. Eren catches him in a guillotine, you know, and he locks it in, and he's got his legs wrapped around him. And like I said before, Eren had him, man. Especially after Mikasa slashed the back of his knees, you know, Eren had him. Until, of course, Reiner, you know, dragged himself under the Colossal. But yeah, man, just amazing attention to detail in these techniques being used, the jiu-jitsu techniques being used. So in this episode, Eren Yeager kind of became Eren Gracie, you know? So, and, you know, all of this also showed the growth, you know, Eren's growth in his Titan form. This is definitely the most restrained and in control I've seen him yet in the show so far. And, you know, even going back to the Hanji moment, you know, he's right there, he's listening, he gets it, he understands. So this is definitely the most control I've seen so far from Eren in his Titan form. So that's good, you know, that's really good. He's finally getting the hang of it. I was told that the Armored is based on Brock Lesnar. Well, in terms of the look itself, yeah, you know, he's big and bulky, and he charges in for takedowns and stuff. In that sense, yeah, you know, I see a little bit of Brock Lesnar, but in terms of the actual fighting style, no, I don't see that, because Brock Lesnar can't really, he's not a great striker, but I've seen that the Armor does have great striking skills. So in that sense, I don't, like, stylistically, fight style it's not similar to Lesnar's, but the look, I guess, is. And I was told that Eren's fighting style is based on Yushin Okami. Yeah, you know, now now it's more likely because at first his style, it was a bit more, out there, swing for the fences. It reminded me of Takanori Gomi. Now it's a bit more like Yushin Okami, much more calm, much more collected. He, in this episode, in this fight, he reminded me much more of Sakuraba because of all the jujutsu techniques being used here. Okay, let's move on to some of the other stuff. In the beginning of the episode, once again, they take me back to that moment. That moment I've seen a few times now throughout the show. That moment I've talked about a few times in my discussions throughout the show. That training episode of them going to the lake at night. Once again, it's such a beautiful moment. And I feel like there's a few reasons to show this again right before this fight takes place. First of all, it just gets you. It really heightens the emotional impact. Again, it got me. Like I said before, this scene is the reason I started liking Reiner. Just his demeanor, man, and his calm and reassuring nature. It reminded us of this friendship, the beginning of a friendship. Again, Reiner has this reputation of being this big brother figure, right? And Eren actually looked up to him, respected him, and also a timely reminder of their goals, right? Reiner, he said his only goal now, the only thing he cares about is returning to the hometown he lost, and that applies to Bertolt as well. And of course, Eren's goal is simple, to slaughter the Titans. He has to do it himself. Of course, that got that reaction out of Reiner and Bertolt. And I also think it is really important that this is shown in the beginning, before this fight happens, because there's a reminder that, their goal is not to just exterminate humanity. That's not the reason they're out here. They long so much for this hometown, this hometown they lost, apparently, that, and he even said, it's the only thing I care about now. Now, as savage and ruthless Mikasa might have seemed in that last episode, by her standards, it was a bit sloppy that she couldn't finish them off, even after having to jump on them. That was my thought in the last episode, and it kind of gets confirmed here that indeed she did hesitate. She basically questioned herself and her inability to finish the job. But the thing is, she wanted to do it, but she couldn't do it. She's questioning this hesitation. Like I said, the 1/4 has a bond, man. They came up together. Even someone like Mikasa, who up until this point only seemed like she only cares for Eren and Armin, at most. But indeed, she has a bond as well. Actually, maybe I'm being a bit harsh. I'm sure she's able to care for like all of them. I'm sure she has a bond, but I feel like her initial priority is Eren and Armin, right? Those are the two she really cares about, but then she is able to care about the rest as well. Their faces are flashing right in front of her eyes, taking us back to her perspective as she's lunging in on them. And you see again, man, that face, Bertolt's face, oh man, that haunts me. He's absolutely just petrified in that moment, full of fear. Again, that just doesn't seem like someone evil, In that moment, I felt so bad for Bertolt, that he's about to get slaughtered, and he's just like absolutely devastated about it. And it looks like Mikasa, seeing both of them like that and defenseless, right? I think it affected her and it hindered her attack. That being said, she regrets this. Like, her goal is to finish them off in that moment. Her goal is to kill them. But she just couldn't do it. So, much like the last episode, the Colossal's animation really stood out. I certainly noticed it. Now, I'm trying to remember if Season 1 Colossal had that kind of animation. I don't think it did. They're using a different type of animation. This is more of like a CG animation going on. It feels just a little bit out of place, that animation. It's not like terrible or anything. It just felt a little bit out of place. But Bertolt, the Colossal, pops two of the humans into its mouth. First one being Ymir. Of course, she's a Titan shifter, so she's a person of interest. And they definitely have an interest in her now. And the other person, you know, at first it really baffled me. I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. You know, I thought maybe there's someone they haven't, you know, told me about, or they haven't shown me yet, and like there's a new player in the game, another person that's hiding in plain sight. It kind of became clear that it might have just been just another scout. You know, maybe Bertolt's using him for the gear, the ODM gear. But staying on the Colossal and the animation, oh my god, man, that shot of the scouts going in on the Colossal, gorgeous stuff, man, just stunning stuff, man. Yeah, the tracking shot. Oh my god, the one shot of them kind of spinning around the arm of the Colossal. It's this beautiful tracking shot behind one of the scouts as they, you know, spin in. It's just beautiful stuff to look at. And again, another one later on, you know, another beautiful tracking shot of her just dropping down, you know, swinging down, and it follows her right till she slashes the knees or behind the knees. You know, I got one back in No Regrets. I see Levi do his thing. I believe that was the first time I got that tracking shot. So it's always great to see them. You know, both Mikasa and Levi, they're so graceful and dynamic in that ODM gear. It's just such a beautiful sight to see them do their thing. And, you know, both of them seem to be so gifted. You know, they're really similar in that sense. Now, something that has me a little bit confused is Connie. It seems like he has no idea that the armor and the Colossal are Reiner and Bertolt. You know, maybe I'm just overthinking it and he just didn't see them transform. It is possible that, you know, that he just didn't see them because he's just down the line. In all the chaos and commotion, he just didn't actually see them transform. And he thinks they're still down there. That's actually a really strong possibility. That might be it. But the other possibility I thought is that, you know, he's in denial, maybe, you know, after perhaps losing his family, and having, you know, this insane night at Utgard Castle. Now 2 of his best friends turn out to be traitors. You know, maybe he's in denial and he just can't process that, can't take it. And a couple of his best friends turned out to be something else entirely. You know, I say that, but again, you know, it doesn't mean that these relationships are done and finished, and this is like the end of it. It's complicated. I don't think this is the end of it. I don't think this is the last time they're gonna be friends. You know, unless Reiner and Bertolt end up dying, I think down the line at some point. Again, you know, this is more of like, you know, a hope of mine. I do hope they all kind of. I do hope they're friends again, somehow. I mean, it seems really complicated at this point, but I don't think it's done just yet. Now, you know, going back to the soldier and the warrior dynamic, right? The duality of Reiner's personality. You know, this has scene of Eren on the floor, just kind of thinking back to all the things he really liked about Reiner, and he starts listing them off. And every single thing he said, it's true. You know, Reiner did all of those things, but, you know, now it's clear he did those in the soldier persona. You know, he didn't have control. It feels like he doesn't have control. He kind of like dips in and out. So all those things, he did them. You know, he meant them. But he did them in that soldier persona. You know, that actually makes me think about his crush on Krista. You know, does that mean that maybe that soldier Reiner and that mindset and that personality that has a crush on Krista, and maybe the warrior Reiner doesn't have it, you know? And in that moment, you get to see the immense hate Eren now has for Reiner. Like I said in the last episode, his sense of morality, it's clear cut, man. Now see, it's one of those moments the audience knows, or actually I can't really speak for the audience, I can speak for myself. I know that there's more to it. You know, there's more to it than them just being evil. And he's made up his mind on this. They are the ones responsible for all his death. They're the ones responsible for his mother's death, right? So these two are evil. That's all Eren cares about. He wants to just kill them. He's disgusted with them. And, you know, in that sense, I get it. I get that he's angry. You know, they did, you know, their actions led to his mother's death. So from that standpoint, from Eren's perspective and knowing how he thinks and his sense of morality, understandable. His reaction is understandable. But I know, right? And I hope a lot of other people questioned it. But I know that there's more to it. It's not just as simple as them being evil and exterminating humanity. It goes all the way back to my season 1 thought process on Annie. It's the same thing. I hope Reiner and Bertolt don't die. I really do hope so. And I hope I get to find out about this hometown. I hope I get to learn their backstories and Annie's backstory and Ymir's backstory, all of them. There's so much to learn still, and I hope Eren gets to learn some of these things as well down the line. Okay, man, so I think that's about it. Great episode, man. Just, season 2 has been fantastic so far. Just episode after episode, just absolutely loving it, man. But yeah, if you enjoyed it, please smash that thumbs up. It just takes a second, and it really helps. So, if you enjoyed it, hit that like button. Leave your comments. Let me know what you guys thought. A huge thank you to all the amazing patrons. Thank you so much for sticking around. Thank you for being so patient. Thank you for having my back. I really do appreciate you guys. Much respect. And I hope you're enjoying the early access stuff and the full-length reactions. Super happy I can offer those. Of course, I'd rather not cut out 10 minutes, but, rules are rules. So sometimes I do have to cut out things I'd rather keep in. So, again, that's a reminder to anyone else. If you like my stuff and you would like to check out full episode reactions, check out my Patreon. You can get early access as well. And in turn, you'll be supporting me. So, yeah, check it out. But yeah, that's about it. Really enjoyed it. Hopefully I can move on to the next few episodes really soon. But yeah, thanks for checking that out. Take it easy.